What's up, family? It's your girl, Samantha Lee. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I know I am coming in a little bit early, and that's because, y'all, I'll be honest with you, got a lot. My work schedule this week is heavier than normal. I am with my full-time. We have tours this week with our youth, and so today was a day where we worked with the youth. And then tomorrow I will be leaving very early in the morning to go on a road trip with almost 70 teenagers. So we are touring some schools. So we are again, I have to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're doing this a little early. We're doing this a little bit early. I just kind of rushed and ate. Y'all already know. Your girl I gotta go work out. So I went and I've done my steps. I've done my walking. I ate real quick and I jumped on the live. So here I am. Welcome you guys to the show. If you guys do not know, my name is Samantha Lee. All right. Now I have a platform. I've been blessed with a platform on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I am a therapist by trade, but I like to represent myself as a woman of God. I like to talk about therapy, relationships, and all the things. Okay. I like to speak about my faith very openly on my platform. So you will see that my perspectives are faith driven, just so you guys know. But I have lived life. I've had a lot of experiences as well. I like to think that I'm learning from those experiences. I'm not going to say I've already made it, but God is delivering your girl every day. And so I unapologetically will share my perspectives with you. All right. So that is me in a nutshell. Some people have asked me, I feel led to share it. I don't even know why. But do I have a degree? Yes, I have a degree in psychology. I also have a degree in social work. My master's is in social work, and my license is in social work. And so that is me in a nutshell. I went to UGA. Go Dogs. Root root. Roof roof. All right, go Dogs. So anyway, with that being said, tonight's conversation is probably not going to be popular, but I feel that it would be remiss, and I'm not surprised there's not a whole lot of people in the chat today, and that's fine. I don't care. This is about God. This is about what I feel like God has put on my spirit to share. And so I'm gonna share it. Could be 5 people in the room. Your girl gonna share. Okay? So tonight's conversation is about celibacy, abstinence, all the things. Now, this is not a topic that I come at you guys. I don't come at this lightly, right? Because I understand why the world is the way that it is. Okay, I understand what goes on or what happens. I'm gonna send this over to myself, and then I'm actually gonna join on TikTok because I don't want to miss my TikTok audience. Again, you guys, I've been working. Sam is working. Okay. I have a cough drop in my mouth, y'all. I've been walking. I've been on walks. So I'm gonna do this again. So if you guys are gonna watch me on TikTok, I'm on TikTok now. About to join the live now. Okay. So anyway, y'all, I am coming to you guys with, and again, I'm not trying to be, I don't. Okay, I don't even know how I want to say this. I want to say this in the right way. I'm saying this from a perspective that I've recently come to. Okay. For those who are joining me on TikTok, we are talking about celibacy, the benefits of celibacy. And now I know I have mostly a male audience, and I am talking to men. I'm talking to women, but I'm talking to men. All right. And I know that this is not popular. I know it's not what y'all want to hear. I know that the internet wants to tell men, just go with your flesh. Just go with your flesh. Just sleep with as many women as your body can handle. Do what you want to do. Women should be chaste. Women should be self-controlled. Women should watch their body count. Women should be virginal. Women should be pure. Men should just be out here sleeping with everything. That's how men and women should be. No, that's actually not true. It's not true at all. It's not biblical. You know, the Bible does have historical context. Yes, we did have David. David had multiple wives. Solomon had multiple wives. Back then, it was a sign of really wealth when a man had multiple wives. Concubines was not what God said, because God created Adam and he created Eve. He didn't create Adam, Eve, and her sister Sarah. He created Adam and he created Eve. One and one, beloved. As you have seen throughout the Bible, over and over again, humans tend to pervert God's creation. That is what we do. This is what we've done over and over again. If you have read the Bible, if you read the Bible from cover to cover, you will see that is a story, more so a historical story of how we fall short and we needed a savior. That is the story of the Bible. And I think a lot of people, they say men, this, that, and the third, men shouldn't, they shouldn't be self-controlled, they should just make a lot of money, sleep with a lot of women, blah, blah, blah. I'm coming on today because I don't think either person, whether they are male or female, should be out here sleeping around, period. I don't believe it. I don't think it's right for either person. And I'm going to be bold about it. I'm at a place in my life where that's where I'm just going, if God puts something on my spirit, I'm going to say it. I think that lust ruins generations. I think lust ruins promise. I think lust has created a perversion in our society that we cannot erase. I think some of our greatest, some people that had the potential to be greats, people that could go down in history, have fallen to lust. And I think that the enemy strategically has targeted men in the area of lust. I truly believe that. I believe that corn is not so accessible for no reason. I don't think that the way that women have decided to present themselves on the internet is by accident. I don't think that the way that the world is so hypersexualized is by accident. Why? Because guess who has dominion? Guess who was given charge over the garden? It was men. Men. And so, yes, we have these social media philosophers and these people that think they know so much about human psyche and what men should do and what men shouldn't do and how men should present themselves and how they should. I'm coming here to just destroy all of that, because it's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's not true. The Bible says a man without self-control is like a city without walls. Back then, when cities were built, they were built with walls. Why? For protection. A man who does not have the ability to control himself cannot control. Cannot control. You can't control your body. How can you control a household? You can't control your body. How can you run a business? You can't control your own body. How dare you sit here and ask for dominion? How dare you ask somebody to submit to you when you can't even control you? Why? Because you make money? Why? Because you have power and other. You can't even control you. You can't even say no to something. You feel like you have the ability and the authority to say to somebody else, you should submit to my authority. You don't even have authority over you. Do you see how lust has ruined our society? Do you see how there has been so many different people in our life that we've seen, that we've literally watched their success and what they've been able to create and do? Do you see how they fall into lust? And men say, oh, well, women do. No, I'm talking to women and men. I'm not saying men in and of themselves are not at fault, or what. I'm not saying one party should be one. No, I'm saying both parties should exercise discipline. How? Oh, do you believe that once you get married, it becomes easier to become disciplined? No, the enemy hates marriage. That's when the temperature's risen up. I think a man who's actually strong, this might not be what people want to hear. I think a man who's strong, like a really strong man, is a man who's committed. Men want to say strength is what? Sleeping with a bunch of women that you like, just recklessly smashing and dashing. That's strength? No, that's weakness. Strength is discipline. Always has been, always will be. A man who has discipline are kings. That's what kings do. They have dominion. When you are telling men and teaching men not to have control over themselves, when you are teaching men that the more power that you have, the less exercise of discipline you exert, that is literally a detriment to our society. And that is why the men in our Black and brown community keep on falling. Because we're continuing to put out this rhetoric, and it's dumb. It's actually dumb. It's actually dumb. Oh, no, you got money, so just sleep with everybody. No, don't get married. No, just be out here. Just that. Why do you think they put that out to you guys? Why do you think that they do? Why do you think they put out music? Why do you think they put out things to keep you guys single, to keep you guys saying, no, I'm not gonna be out here, with one woman. I'm not gonna create a family. No, I'm just gonna create a bunch of broken homes and call it dignified, call it integrity. No, it's not. It's actually not. That's not strength. Let's call it what it is. It's weakness. The inability to control yourself is weakness. The inability to say no to things, the inability to stay committed is weakness. Literally, some of the biggest things we say is do not give up. Do not give up. Stay committed. But when we talk about relationships, we're over here diminishing and tearing down men that are committed. No, they're strong. You're weak. They're strong. Men that are choosing to be committed and choosing to be married and choosing to have families and choosing to create legacies and choosing to say, you know what? I could be out here, but I'm not. You know what? I could sleep with her, but I'm not. You know what? I could exercise my authority, but I'm going to stay honorable and I'm going to walk in integrity. That is strength. That is strength. The reverse is true. As a woman, do you think it's strength to have a bunch of men that you sleep with on a regular basis, that you rotating? We some of us got kids. We out here sleeping around. Do you think that that's integral? Do you think that makes you look good? Do you think that we could all go out here and sleep with a man randomly? I'm just keeping it real. We could all do that. We could all be having casual sex. We could all be out here and having sneaky links and different people that we're sleeping with. We could all do that. That's easy to do. That takes no integrity. That takes no thought for me to go out and sleep with some man just because I feel like it. I've always said this. I want my man picky. I don't want to be with no man that want to be with everybody. Nor do I want a woman, if I was a man, who out here sleeping with everybody. I would want somebody that had discipline, that exercised discipline. And we, in this society, we're like, well, everybody's doing it. Everybody's sleeping around. Everybody's not committed. Do you feel like it's working, baby? Do you think that what we doing is working? Do you think that by us telling the world to run by the seat of our pants and to continue to be driven by lust, do you think that that is working? You tell me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired of seeing men come out here and saying, oh yeah, the more money you have, the more you should be out here sleeping around. The more you should be out here running around and putting your periwinkle and things that you don't even know where they've been at. Yeah, just keep watching corn. See what that does for you. When we're driven by flesh and we do not have control over our bodies, how in the world do we call that strength? A man that can't be committed, I'm sorry, that's a red flag, baby. It's a red flag. You can't commit, that's a red flag. That's not strength, that's weakness. Don't call yourself a strong man if you can't be committed. That's just what it is. Strong men commit. Strong men are disciplined. Strong men take dominion. That's what men do. That's what strong men do. And if you don't like the message, you don't look at every single person that we talk about from the beginning to the end. They were disciplined men and they were committed to a cause. And that's why they saw it through. So I am tired. I'm tired of this rhetoric that we have, that we could just run around here and we could just go with our bodies and let our bodies choose what we're going to do next. Oh, he's cute. Let me just open my legs to him. Oh, she's fine. Let me just sleep with her tonight. Oh, and I'm strong and I'm stoicism and I'm this and that and the third. No, you're not. You're weak, actually. You're actually weak. If you can't, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have that in my mouth anyway. If you can't go a weekend without sleeping with a woman, there's a problem. If you can't go a day without watching corn or every other day watching corn, there's a problem. You have to have dominion over your flesh. I have to have dominion over my flesh. Stop putting it on women to have dominion over their flesh, like they're the only ones who needs to have self-control. No, you're the head of household. We also want to say women should be feminine and they should want to submit and all these other things. Absolutely. I 100% agree. But what are we submitting to? Men that can't say no? Men that just because they got a little power and a little bit of money, they can't say no. They're out here creating babies with women they don't even like, don't even want to have a conversation with. But we want to, that's what we're called. That's what we call strength. That's what we call desirable. No, it's not. It's not. You walk around, you don't have no, you just sleeping with everything that look like the same type of woman. Literally light skin, this, that, dirt, or dark skin, but or this. It's the same image, copy and pasted. Anything that look like this, you sleeping with. No, that's not. What is that? Oh, but that's strength. That's honorable. That's integral. No, stop, bro. Like, stop. It's deception, and we've been deceived. It's deception, and we've been deceived. Why do you think people like 50 Cent? Why do you think people like Omarion? Why do you think that people like Justin Bieber, Russell Wilson, all these different men, why do you think that these men have made decisions to be celibate? Why do you think they've done that? They've done it to heal themselves because they were being driven by a spirit that actually distracted them. But you wonder why it's being put out to y'all. I'm sorry, man. It makes me mad. It infuriates me. Because we're so deceived, bro. We're so deceived. And they're targeting men. And men think it's freedom. Oh, I'm not going to be married. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to be out here just sleeping with a bunch of women. Oh, you know what? I don't feel like being with a woman. I'm just going to continue to reap benefits from women. And have no responsibility. And I'm going to call that integrity because I'm being honest with them. No, it's not integrity. Bro, you're lying to yourself. It's not integrity because you're being honest. If you can't handle the responsibility of a woman, leave them alone. If you really want to be single, leave them alone. That's integrity. That's character. That's what that is. If you are not committed, stop sitting here saying you a strong man. Figure it out. Figure out why you can't be committed. Don't sit here and try to present this lifestyle like that's strength. It's not strength. It's reckless. It's reckless. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help them. You actually can look online because there's statistics to prove that men that are hypersexual have stronger. Listen, let me just go ahead and do this. Y'all listening to this daggone music and y'all seeing what we've seen in society. And just because everybody's doing it, don't make it right. Just because it's popular, don't make it right. Real men commit. That's what they do. They don't sleep around and go to the bar on the weekends and lose their mind and sleep with a bunch of different women. That's not control. That's not integral. That's not what is that? That's not that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. Having self-control and being able to say no is real strength. God does not measure us in our yeses. He measures us in our ability to say no. It's easy to say yes sometimes. I personally have been on a journey myself. And y'all, am I saying that it's easy? No. I know that we don't like to think of women as being sexual beings, but we are sexual beings. We desire sexual things as well. And it's easy for us to find it if we desire to go there. Me saying no to myself and me saying, no, I'm going to stand in this because this is what I believe that God has put on my spirit. That has brought me closer to God. It's given me more peace than anything else I've done. And so us being presented in a way that's hypersexual, us continuing to put ourselves out there and say, we just out here sleeping around. We ain't looking for nothing serious. We doing this, that, and the third. That is literally saying, I'm going to be run by my flesh and I'm going to actually make it admirable and virtuous versus saying, listen, we're trying to make the lack of self-control virtuous. We're trying to make the lack of having the ability to say no to your own body virtuous. Because we think in our minds, well, most guys are not going to wait. Most guys are not going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, that's a problem. Why aren't they waiting? Why aren't you? Why aren't you waiting? Why aren't you saying, hey, listen, you know what? I don't want to be out here sleeping with a bunch of women that I don't really care about, that I don't really like, that I don't want to have a conversation with. I just think they look good. And then you create the issue that you have, which is like, oh, all these women are being passed around, and this is their turn, and blah 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 blah, and all this other stuff. And I don't like it that women are just my turn. You're creating the turns. You're creating the problem that you're complaining about. If you don't want people to have turns with your woman, stop having turns with theirs. You wonder why you don't got no peace. You wonder why you're not fulfilled. You wonder why you're looking for the next best thing. Because once you get that woman, then guess what? It's down to the next woman, and on to the next woman, and on to the next woman, and on to the next woman. It's never fulfilling. It actually increases your rate of anxiety and depression. It makes men actually have to go to other substances to escape the realities that they've created for themselves. Hypersexuality don't help men. And it being purported to men, to me, is a bigger sign that men are under attack. Especially black and brown men. Let's just keep it 100. I think all men, yes, all men are under attack. But I think black and brown men are attacked a little different. I think minority communities are attacked a little different. They don't want to see you as trustworthy. They don't want to see you as integral. They don't want to see black and brown women as having integrity and walking with self-control and being women that we wife. We sleep with them and we wife other women. That is what is being purported. And we sit out here and we present ourselves in a way and we call it freedom. It ain't freedom. You're being mind warped, family. It's not freedom when everybody's doing it. It's not freedom when your homeboy's doing it and your other homeboys do it and your brother and your cousin and your uncle and your daddy wasn't fake. Your daddy didn't marry your mother and make this family, or your daddy didn't make certain decisions, so you're not making the same decision. No, you break generational curses. You say, I'm not going to do it like everybody else. There's an agenda. There's an agenda, family. That's my point. There's an agenda for us to lack self-control, to look at that area as a negotiable, to look at that area as, I'm sorry, a man that lacks self-control probably should be working on self-control. Because it's not just about lust. It's not just about women. That area affects other areas. For men, increases rates of depression and anxiety. The men who reported higher body counts and higher rates of corn use had higher rates of depression and social isolation. Erectile dysfunction, especially among young men. 1 in 3 men under the age of 40 experience ED. And much of that is linked to compulsive corn use and overstimulation. Number 3, decreased relationship satisfaction. Men who watch corn regularly report lower levels of commitment and satisfaction in romantic relationships. Number 4, they lack self-control motivation. Hypersexual behavior is associated with lower prefrontal cortex activity. Prefrontal cortex is the decision-making capacity in your brain. The part of your brain that's responsible for decision-making, discipline, and long-term planning. The inability to control yourself is actually destroying you. The inability to say no. The inability that why do you think Lenny Kravitz or 50s, like I said, Lenny Kravitz came out and said he's waiting for his spouse, and that was a big deal because Lenny Kravitz is a handsome guy, successful guy, has a lot. I mean, he can go wherever and do whatever. Why is he making that choice? Why do you think 50 Cent's making that choice? Why do you think Omarion? Why do you think these men, I don't know what their faith background is. I don't know what they actually identify with. Why do you think they're making these decisions? I'll tell you why. Because they talked about why they did it. For it's improved mental focus and clarity. Most of the men that I've named reported an improved mental clarity and focus. They were doing it to get clarity, and they continue to do it. I think Lenny Kravitz has been at it for like 8 or 9 years now. I don't know. I guess 50 would be on his second year of doing this. But it was about clarity and focus. It's about better decision making. When you're not clouded by the chemistry of the attachment, you can see situations and people more clearly. It actually has the ability of reducing stress and anxiety by being celibate. All right. You're not worried about the pregnancy scares. You're not worried about the STIs. You're not worried about the emotional fallout for the relationships. You also eliminate the pressure to perform. Number 4, increase self-discipline. Celibacy builds mental toughness. You train your body and your brain to submit to your purpose, not impulses. I'm going to read that one again. Increase self-discipline. Celibacy builds mental toughness. You train your body and your brain to submit to your purpose, not impulses. You have deeper self-worth, faster emotional healing, freedom from soul ties, and stronger boundaries. The benefits of a closer relationship with God, greater spiritual discernment. You break in generational cycles, spiritual authority and anointing. 50 Cent said he did it because he was focusing on his goals, his physical health, and avoiding distractions. Maya did it because she wanted to focus on self-love and healing. Orlando Bloom did it because he wanted to better understand women and deepen emotional connection. Most have, I see Lenny Kravitz said he did it for spiritual discipline, waiting for the right partner. Russell Wilson did it before marriage for faith-based and relational reasons. Justin Bieber did it for spiritual rededication before marriage. Kevin Jonas wore a purity ring and waited until marriage. Tim Tebow, he waited until marriage as well. Nick Cannon actually was a celibate for a period of time. That's what he reports as well. I say all of this, guys, to say that when we decide to make sacrifices and we decide to take control over our bodies and not allow our bodies to drive the car, we decide to say, listen, I am telling my body what to do. And I now exercise dominion. Somebody said, please define dominion. The reality is, when we're out here and just sleeping with different people and we're not getting clarity. So dominion means sovereignty or control. Sovereignty or control. That is what dominions. You can Google the facts, family. You can Google these facts. Go ahead, Google them. You and I both know this ain't hypersexuality or sleeping with people that you are just not committed to. You're not dealing with. I'm here to combat casual sex. That's what I'm here to do. I met a lot of men, and when they're run by their flesh and they run by lust, I have seen how those things have literally led them into brick walls that they could not get out of. If you are struggling, if you're fighting with this, if this is something that you like feel you're arguing with me, you're being defensive in this moment, there might be an area you need to look into more. I'm saying this for men and for women. If you over here like, well, I mean, I know, but what about women though? It's like, no, I'm asking, we can't control other people. What I'm saying is, what about you? Stop focusing on what somebody else is doing. Start focusing on what you're doing. It's not about what women are doing. It's not about what your ex did. It's not about what the person down the street is doing. What about you? We live and die, and we take an account for what we've done and what we've been able to do. When I leave this earth and if I go before the Father, I'm not going to answer to Susie Q's life. I'm going to answer to my life, and I'm going to answer to the decisions I made. And if you feel that you have not been able to say no to your flesh in the past, if you feel that you have not been able to have dominion and authority over your body, then I am speaking to you. If you struggle with corn, if you struggle with these things, I want you guys, it's a moment not to argue and not be defensive. We know what it is. We know how it feels. And when I see content that promotes being super promiscuous as a man, but expecting a woman to be chaste, I take issue with that because that's not real. Men should have discipline. I think men should have more discipline than women. They're the head of household. I can't tell you how many men have come at me or said things to me, but they can't even control them. How can you be somebody's husband, good husband, and you can't control you? How can you be somebody's wife, good wife, and you can't control you? That's the truth. A lot of people, oh, I want a husband so bad. Oh, yeah, I want. It's hard. You want a husband, but you can't control you. How that gonna work? And what happens with a lot of men is that they get into marriages and they struggle with this thing called lust. Because let me tell y'all guys, that is how, I'm sorry, you watching me, I'm spiritually led. A lot of guys don't understand that is how the enemy gets you, is the lust of the flesh and the pride of life. And if you read the Bible, let me read it to you. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. That's 1 John 2:16. This refers to sinful desires and cravings, particularly those related to sensual gratification and material possessions. I'm at a place, y'all, and we talk about this all the time, situationships and men not wanting to commit and this, that, and the third. And I'm a little bit tired of men saying they don't want to commit, but they sleeping with women every other weekend. They got women at their house right now just there. But I don't want a woman. I don't want a commitment. No, you do. You do. But you don't have the strength to be committed. Because it takes strength. I'm tired of men that commit and make real decisions about commitment and what they're going to do. I'm tired of those men being looked at like they're less than. They are not less than when they say, listen, no, I'm gonna be an honorable man and I'm gonna do this the right way. That is not weak. That is not simp. That is strength. It is not strength for me to not exercise self-control. It's not strength. That is weakness. It is strength to go down an aisle and say, I do. That's strength. It's strength to say, no, I'm not going to sleep with all the options I could. I'm actually going to practice saying no now while the stakes are low. While I don't have a reason to worry about who's watching me and who's not. I'm going to start practicing having self-control now. It doesn't come by osmosis when the stakes are high. It just doesn't happen. When you practice in this season, which you practice shooting in the gym, eventually you're going to have to play in that game and do. The people that play sports, you're not just waiting till the season to start training. You training before the season starts, before you touch a basketball, before you touch a football, before you even get to that place. You've been practicing all the time so that when you get into the game and you're doing the drills, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. You don't just do it in a moment. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Men want to give women advice, but these men privately can't control themselves. You don't commit to nothing. But you want to tell a woman how to find a good man. No, until you're a good man, tell them how to find a good woman or a good man. I'm tired of it. Because a lot of these men, yes, you've got a lot of great things to say, and I think y'all are amazing. But until you learn how to control yourself, stop talking. Stop telling women how they should go about finding good men. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the truth. I'm sorry, you guys. Holy Spirit, help me, Jesus. I feel this so strongly because I see the deception. I see how men, they want to talk about, I don't want to have no girlfriend. I just want to be out here just talking to a whole bunch of women all the time, different women every day. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I'm be doing my thing. And, they want me, your boy hot, your boy glass, we glossy these days. They see me, I see them. We be doing what we be doing. And I be on the next. That's empty that's literally the most empty existence you could have, is to be driven by another. So really, women got power over you. You just don't have one. Calm down. If you are unable to control yourself and you can't help yourself to women, or you can't help yourself to corn, then women got power over you. Oh, easy. That's how we take you out. We just send a bunch of bad women your way. We just gonna send a whole bunch of beautiful women, and we're just gonna take you out that way. I know how to get you. Guys, no. Some of these guys are with women now that they were with because they slept with them. If they didn't sleep with them, they probably wouldn't be with them. Just because a woman's beautiful, that's not. And I'm not saying, y'all, I'm saying this from a place. I'm saying this from a place of just literally, like, I've met a lot of men. And I've coached a lot of men. And yet my passion for it is the way it is. But the way that I see how men are being encouraged to live a life driven by lust. Make money so you can sleep with a bunch of women. Not create an honorable family. Not have integrity. No, forget those things. That doesn't matter. Yeah, just keep playing with women and keep doing this. And that's strength. No, that's weakness. Just like if a woman was out here and I'm just going to be as beautiful as I can be and I sleep with a bunch of men, because I have access to them, does that make me strong? No, that makes me weak. Every man can say he slept with me. Does that make me strong? No, that makes me weak. My abilities to say no in front of options is what makes me strong. If I'm on a diet and I see a bunch of Snicker bars and I choose the fruit, I have more self-control than somebody that's not being tempted by Snickers. Because if I'm not being tempted by Snickers and everything around me is fruit, it's easy to be faithful. That's why one of the first things we say when you first start a diet is take the food out the house that's tempting you so that you're able to be focused. So that, and as you get stronger in your diet, in your resolve, you can be around more and more of those things because now you've been able to develop the muscle to say no. You develop the muscle to say no. And so again, y'all, it's my perspective, popular, probably not. But I think just like it is important for women to have the mentality to have discipline, I think it's very important. I am not saying women should be out here sleeping around. In fact, I've been saying that for years. I don't think women should. I think the hypersexualization of women is a shame, because I've been saying I know that is not, you cannot tell me that is good for your soul. What I don't like is that the women that are waiting, the women that are being shunned because they are exercising self-control, that's problematic for me. Now they don't have options because men are like, no, I don't want to be with women that aren't exercising self-control. I want to be and connect myself with women that I know are not. And that literally doesn't make any sense. But that's according to scripture. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. You want a woman who exercises self-control, but you don't exercise self-control. You want a woman that walks with integrity, but you don't walk with integrity. Because being real. Let's just keep real. Keep it real. If you're not able to say no, if you're not able to deny your flesh, if you're not able to stop watching porn, if you found a woman that struggled in the same area, would you date her? Absolutely not. You wouldn't even look at her twice. But the thing that we say is, oh, because I'm a man, I'm allowed to not have control in this area. No, you're not. In fact, I think it's more important in the area to have self-control in the area of sexuality for men. Because that is what we see. We see taking y'all out. That is what we see, people destroying their legacy based upon the inability to have self-control. We're seeing that. We see it. People are on trial now that had fantastic promise and legacy because of lust. We see how it destroys people. We see how it destroys marriages. We see how it destroys families. We see it. And instead of saying something about it, we continue to condone it and make it seem like it's some type of badge of honor because you sleep with a bunch of women and you lack the ability to have some daggone self-control. Look at Samson in the Bible. Look at Solomon ruining their entire legacy because they couldn't say no, because they had to go with women. If you are on this live and you are a man, I'm urging you, Stop listening to this world that's taking y'all out one by one, that's putting y'all on news screens and saying, look at what this man did. Look at what this minority male did. Look at how he don't have no self-control. Look at, why do you think we prop up men that we know ain't got no self-control? Why do you think we do that? You think that that's by accident? No, that's how they want to see you, men. They want to see you not have self-control. They want to see, oh, see, that's why you can't trust them. That's why, because they ain't got no integrity. They don't know how to control themselves. They out here moving around. You can't trust them. They want you to live up to the daggone stereotype. And you're over here like, well, I'm going to live up to the stereotype because that's a stereotype and I'm going to be in the stereotype. So I might as well be in the stereotype. No, stop. Don't. Stop. Stop. Have dominion. Stop living up to the daggone stereotype. Stop allowing the music that they push to get into your brain and make you think that that's the way. That's not the way. It's a broken way. And if I was to sit here and talk to men that are living in that way, you listen to the daggone music, family. If we don't talk about music, if it's a music, listen to the music. Listen to the music. The music is depressing. The music that is promoting this lifestyle is literally it's literally depressing. These men are literally talking about how they're having to use substances to live their life and their existence. That's how we want to live our life. That's how we want to go. The very men you're listening to about how to conduct yourself in this life can't even live their life or a day in their life without getting high. I'm keeping it 100 with you. And there's men that are saying that have all access that they wanted to, that are multi-millionaires saying, it's not even about me being a Christian. It ain't even about me having a spiritual relationship. It's about me having dominion over me. It's about me not letting women or the desire of the flesh to run me any longer. It's more about the fact that I want to have dominion and clarity and focus so that I can really see life in a certain way. Because I'll be honest with you, family, I got a whole lot of clarity when I started having dominion. I started really hearing God in a way that I couldn't when I started having dominion. Why do you think the enemy wants to cloud your dominion with all these different narratives about how you conduct your life? Why do you think there are platforms where men are literally advocating for men to continue to live a life where they are not disciplined? Why do you think that is? Why? Why do you think that is? Why? It's because they don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you married. They don't want to see you in covenant. They want to sit here and allow you to stay in a space where you're continuing to sabotage your life and therefore relationships. I'll be honest with you. One of the most important things that we can do is be in relationship. And the very content that they push is the content that literally discourages you from relationships. So we now got a confusing society where people don't know what they are and who they are to the people that they're sleeping with and sharing the most intimate part of themselves with. A bunch of confused people saying that this is the way. Walk in it. No, it's not the way. Ain't no way that this is the way. Look at what's happening. Thank you. MGHSTYL. He sent a super chat in. He said, definitely feel your passion, Sam. It's a tough, sensitive topic to share, mostly to men. They love you for this. And I appreciate that. Thank you guys. But I'm saying this, y'all. I'm not just saying this. I'm not just saying this to men. I'm saying this to women. I'm saying this to society. The way that we are moving is not benefiting us. It's not making us stronger. It's making us weaker. Don't talk to me about child support. I don't want to hear about no daggone but women put men on child support. If you were more discerning, I'm seeing men now talking about they did child support with a woman they don't even like. They don't even want them texting them. If you had self-control, that wouldn't be a problem, would it? And here's the thing, family. I'm not saying you always know or you always like have an understanding. Sometimes people do. They hurt you in ways you can't even imagine. I've been there. I've done that. I know. I've written probably several books on it. I understand how people can pop out the woodworks and you thought you could trust them and you can't. I get that. I understand. That doesn't give us the right to continue to live our lives in a very broken way. That doesn't give us the license to sit here and act reckless, because it's not just about relationships. It's about society. It's about brokenness. It's about what those seeds are planting in our world. And I'm saying right now, while the stakes are low, whether you're a male or whether you're a female, exercise dominion over you. That's what I'm saying. I could care less whether I'm not, some people saying you talking, I say this more to men because I think they bring up the example of Solomon and David and just different people in the Bible that had multiple wives, concubines. But we also have to talk about the area in a lot of those men's lives that they actually reap the consequences for choosing to be lustful. Solomon's reign fell short. Samson killed. David had Bathsheba. That child, the first child that they had, passed away. He then was, towards the end of his life, David was hunted by his oldest son. His son was trying to unalive him. And he was running away from him in the caves and the wildernesses. A lot of that was because he made a choice based upon the lust of the flesh. Abraham created Ishmael. Ishmael was not supposed to happen, but he created Ishmael with one of his, I guess you could say, concubine. And that child opposed his promised child for the rest of their life. They're still opposing nations to this day. I think it's very, very important for men to exercise dominion. And that's not a popular message. That's not what most people want to hear. We want to hear like, yeah, women, don't do that. Don't sleep with anybody. Don't do it. You shouldn't do it. They shouldn't. I'm in agreement. But you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. You don't have dominion. I am here to dispel all these different things, y'all. I'm here to dispel all these different things where men are literally condemning men for being committed, upstanding citizens. Oh, he's a simp because he got married. No, you're a simp because you're not. Sorry. Takes real strength to say I do. That's a real risk. It's easy to just be out here doing whatever you want. That's easy. Walking in commitment is hard. Staying with somebody, being loyal to them, even when they're not being good, that's challenging. Those are not easy things. A man who's able to say no, like no, and he don't got, it's not because of whatever, but because of his own, like, nah, I'm saying no because I'm saying no. I got dominion over me. A woman don't control me. Her cookie monster don't control me. Her Gucci Gotcha don't control me. I have dominion over me. I tell me what to do. I don't let my part tell me what to do. No, family. A man, like, this whole rhetoric is to destroy you. I just read why it destroys you. I read psychological research. I've told you that when you are running with lust creates a perversion in your spirit. That perversion in your spirit literally takes you out of promise, takes you out of purpose, takes you out of relationships. Some people find themselves in jail cells. That's where they go. That is where this road leads to. It doesn't lead to promise. It doesn't lead to fulfillment. It is a broken cistern. It does not hold water. I don't care how many women you sleep with, you will not get fulfillment from sleeping with women. It just doesn't happen. But what we don't want to talk about and what we don't want to say is that there's a brokenness that brings about that type of behavior. We've been taught broken behavior and we perpetuate broken behavior. And then we say, oh, well, my daddy did it. My uncle did it. Everybody in my neighborhood did it. That doesn't make it right, baby. It don't make it right. Just there's things that I learned growing up. And I'll be honest with you, it's taken me years to undo some of the things that I was taught in childhood. That just because I was taught it don't make it right. Just because everybody does it don't make it right. And I'm sorry that this is harsh. I'm sorry that this is coming out this way. I'm very passionate. I'm yelling because I'm passionate. I see men being deceived. Oh, I mean, only Jesus waited. Jesus ain't the only one that waited. Jesus was the only one who was celibate no, he wasn't. There's men today that get married and have not slept with their wives. It's very possible to do. It's very possible to do. You can do it. You can be committed. If you stop eating snacks and really commit to this thing, you can do it. You have everything you need to do it. Is it easy? No. But is anything that's worth it easy? I've also heard before, y'all, the hardest thing to do is usually the right thing to do. Sometimes, y'all, if you're struggling, you're like, dang, I can't not sleep with anybody. Like, I can't sleep with anybody. I mean, I have been single, but I can't go a weekend without nothing at all, like never. That might be an area. That might be an area where you need to step into. If there's an area in your life where you can't take dominion, where you can't take authority, stop asking for women to submit to you then. Stop going on the train of all these guys that say they strong alpha men, but they can't deny their flesh. I'm an alpha man. Can you say no? I'm the head of household. You should listen to me. Can you say no? Can you deny your flesh? Oh, you can't? Yeah, you got dominion over money. Yeah, maybe you work out every day. Maybe you eat clean. Maybe you're super healthy. Great. Can you say no? Can you deny your flesh? I think you can. And I think I'm a little bit tired of people making the lack of self-control in our men and making that attractive. It's not attractive. It's a turnoff. When a man does not have sexual discipline, it's actually a turnoff. When a woman doesn't have sexual discipline, it's a turnoff. And if it's an area that you're very resistant in, you might want to look into it a little bit more. Because we both know what's right. We both know what God is calling you to do. We both know God ain't telling you to be out here with a bunch of women that ain't your wife. We know that. That's not rocket science. It's going to take an act of self-control, an act of discipline to say, I'm saying no to this. Instead of wanting to try all the samples in the store, having no intention of buying one, and then saying, well, I'm good because I'm being honest. No, it's not about being honest. It's being admirable. It's being honorable. It's being integral. That's what it is. If you can't handle the responsibility of a woman, don't play with them at all. If a responsibility of a woman is like, whoo, can't be with no woman. Ooh, I am not ready. I am not ready. I am not ready. Don't deal with them. But you playing with them, but still saying you don't want one, that don't even make sense. That's double-minded, family. It's double-minded. Because you want a woman. Otherwise, you could really be on your own with nobody for years. Like Paul, who wrote 3/4 of the New Testament. He was alone. He never was with a woman. He never was with a woman, from what we understand, from what we know. Jesus, from what we know, was never with a woman. So it is possible for men, not just Jesus, to be alone. And you'd be alone for the rest of their life and not be with no woman. And if you can do that, if that is with the desire of your heart, then do that. But most men, that's not the story. The story is, I don't want to be a woman in that way, with a woman in that way. I don't want to be with her. Because it's easier for me to take samples. It's easier for me to move in this way. And let me tell you something, y'all. Let me be very, very clear. Outside of the emotional, physical, and spiritual consequences of not stopping and continuing to move the way you've been moving, you reap what you sow in this life. That's law. You reap what you sow in this life. That's law. You sow in evil, you'll reap evil. You're not walking in a way that's admirable by sleeping with women when you have no intentions of really being with them or marrying them or anything like that. That's not integrity. That's not what God's calling you to do. That has nothing to do with God. Nothing. Because God calls us to have self-control. That's when it says the fruits of the spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, and what? Self-control. Every decision you make today is creating a harvest for tomorrow. What are you sowing? Anything you give up for the betterment of God and his kingdom, you reap. You will get it back. If you're sowing brokenness, you're going to reap brokenness. If you're sowing discord, you're going to reap discord. If you're sowing a lack of self-control, you're going to reap that. If you're living your life in a way that you know that God is not pleased with, understand that you reap that. Understand that every choice you make has a consequence, every single one. No one is above that. No one is below that. And creating excuses like women are this way. Each gender, male and female, each sex, if you will, it's literally a self-fulfilling prophecy on both sides. Because of what men doing, women are doing, because of what women doing, men doing. Men doing this, women doing that. Men doing, women doing this, men doing. It's literally we're feeding off of each other, and this feedback loop continues. Because we're just so busy pointing the finger at each other instead of really just saying, taking responsibility of you, taking accountability for you. This is a popular message. No. It's not a popular message for women, nor is it for men. Because like I said, women enjoy sexual activity just as much as men do. It's not, oh, that don't bother women like that. It does. It's not easy. It's not easy to say no. Not easy to say no when you can be saying you could easily meet the need. That's not easy. Me being able to, or any woman being able to say no when you don't have to say no is strength. But the men, the leaders in my life, the leaders that I want to have in my life, the man that I want to submit to, the man that I want to lay down with, the man that I want to live my life with has dominion over his body. A man that is able to say no. I want that man. I want him. So that when we unite, we both know we both got self-control. We got dominion. And if I know my man got dominion over him, I know that the rest of the world is easy. If you can control you, that's easy. When I see a man that got, like, listen, a man that listen, I know what I want. That's my woman right there. I'm not going nowhere. I don't care what you throw at me or what you show me. That is very attractive. I don't care what it is. That's going to make anybody's body work and move in ways you could never imagine. That really will do it. I know it'll do it for me. It's very unattractive for a man to not exercise self-control and then he's with you. How can I trust you? You can trust me. How can I trust you? That's why it's important, family, to start today. Start now. Start now. Stop allowing the lies that this world is telling you, these sweet nothings. Oh, you don't have to. No, you ain't got to be. Like, you're by yourself. Like, why? No, you see what everybody else is saying. I mean, you don't have to do that. I mean, come on. They throwing it at you. It's like they asking for it. Like, what can you do? I mean, I'm just a man. I'm just like, no. Have dominion. You're a king. You are a king. You were created to be a king. Be a king. Walk in being a king. Talk like a king. You were created to be a king, and God can't give you no daggone kingdom until you become a king. It would be irresponsible for him to give you the things that you're asking for if you're not a king. Do what kings do. Did kings sit out here and do whatever? No, kings got married. Kings had queens. Kings was taking care of their responsibilities. Kings had responsibilities, and they were stewarding those responsibilities well. Kings wasn't out here just moving around, living with people, doing whatever. No, that's not how kings were moving. That's not how kings move. Kings have dominion. And our world is taking dominion from you right underneath your eyes by saying something that, yes, is comfortable. Yes, is easy. Yes, it's easily, it's so easy. You ain't got to change. You ain't got to be better, blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, oh, that's a strong man. That's an alpha man. That's a man that can come in and do the things. And no, it's not. No, absolutely not. You don't have dominion over you. That's not strong. Strength, as I stated before, is loyalty and commitment. That is strength. Why do you think most of our world leaders are married? Why do you think that is? Or the men that you see written about in history books, why do you think those men were married? Why do you think that is? Because God, no matter what religion you are, honors marriage. So the very thing that takes you to the next level is the thing that the world is discouraging the most. And now we got a bunch of confused people who can't tell you on Wednesday they're in a relationship. They've been in a situationship with a man for 2 to 5 years. They still can't tell you that's their man. The fact that our culture is so daggone confusing, should tell you that we going to hell in a handbasket. Mark says, how does a man that actively engage in God's calling find himself single and seeks a wife that seeks a spiritual man that honors that? This will be hard on both of us, correct? It's hard to meet a single lady and maintain them without S3X or the other things you mentioned. I honestly believe, y'all, that a woman that is sent to you by God is going to honor whatever God's called you to do. And if she doesn't honor what God has called you to do, then she's not sent from God. I truly believe that God will send you your spouse or put your spouse in your vision when he feels like it is ready. It is time for you to get there. I believe in a God that provides for the needs of his people. And so I believe once you are in position, he will send the woman. That's what I believe. I believe that when you sow the seeds, he will send the rain. That's what I believe. I believe the same God that said to Noah, build an ark, I'm going to send rain. And he did send rain. That's the same God that turned David into a king. That's the same God that made Joseph from a pit all the way to second in command in the palace. He's a king maker. If you're ready, he gonna send her. If you're not, he won't. And if you're not ready, and you're like, all these women are saying all they want from me is to sleep with you or whatever the case may be, then you're not ready. I believe that the same God, it says in the Bible, God will supply all of your needs according to his riches and his glory. What does that mean? God can send you what you're looking for that is going to go about it the right way. That's what I believe. I believe all you got to do is focus on the things he's put before you, and you be faithful to the things that he's given you. And he's going to provide. That's the type of God we serve. That's what he's done all throughout the Bible. I truly believe that. And I think both parties, whether they're male or female, are afraid of the same thing. Well, if I stop sleeping with people, then women aren't going to want to be with me, or men are not going to want to be with me. That is true. You're going to have people that do not respect your journey. I get that. And let me tell you something. I'm not saying it's easy. But the thing is, it requires a level of intentionality. It requires a level of strength. It requires a level of integrity to walk that path. That's why the road is narrow. That's why not everybody gets to where they need to go. I believe that if God is sending you somebody, that person is going to 100% respect your walk and what God has called you to. And maybe that's not what they desire, but if they're desiring God, anybody that desires God on any level is going to understand you wanting to do it God's way. Why? That's part of the biggest problem we have today, family. We wonder why the divorce rates are so high. We wonder why people are going through what they're going through in relationships. We're not doing it God's way. We're just not. And then we're blaming God like it's his fault. It's not his fault. We're not doing it his way. How am I going to get mad at God when he told us what to do and I'm doing it my way and then I'm mad because I get my results? These people, I'm sorry, it just makes me so mad. Because it is so confusing. Our world is so confusing, man. It is hard to choose the narrow path. I'm not saying it's not. What I am saying, what I do believe it's worth it. I think Dr. Darius, he said this on Sunday. He said that a lot of sin comes from a lack of trust in God to fulfill you. That a lot of times when we make decisions that aren't in vain with what God is telling us, is because we don't trust him to fulfill us. We don't trust him to meet our needs. We don't trust him to give us the desires of our heart. We don't trust him. So we say, okay, God, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to take control of my hands. And then we're like, oh God, well, why am I going through all this? Why am I not reaching the goals I'm praying for? Why are you not giving me the mantle that I'm desiring? He's like, you're not doing it my way. How can I? How can I give you more when you haven't shown yourself to be responsible for more? How can I give you the car when you haven't shown me you could drive? Only the enemy promotes without process. God promotes with process. And that's to ensure that you don't sabotage your own blessings. So I'm coming out here and saying that there are people that have like a Lenny Kravitz or Justin Bieber. They've stopped sleeping with people. Obviously, Justin Bieber got married. He was absent until marriage. Russell Wilson practiced celibacy or abstinence with Ciara before they got married. You see other men that they've all gotten married. They're still married, but I think that when we do it God's way, we get God results. I'm not saying because it's easy. Listen, my body want what it want too. I'm not saying that from a perspective of I don't struggle with my own desires. But what I am saying, is that I know it'll be worth it doing his way. I'm saying that. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know what or how God's going to do it. But I felt very much led to do this live because I just see so many different narratives online calling men that have decided to commit and decided to say I do and have decided to be honorable men. I'm like, that's the enemy at work right there. For sure. A man who's doing it God's way. And we gonna condemn him and try to call him names? No. He's not the simp. He's got strength. A man that's willing to say I do is not a simp. Sorry. That's strength. A man that is intentional and committed, that's strength. The weakness are the men that don't. The weakness are the men that want to say, oh, I could just decide. I could have multiple kids with this woman and I could just decide whenever. Not multiple kids, but like, they're still existing, because we sometimes, guys, we make mistakes. We do make mistakes. And I'm not here to condemn anybody for their past mistakes, because I've made a lot of mistakes. And I'm so thankful that we serve a God that's so gracious and he's so merciful. But when he gives us the opportunity, to do it right, we do it right. We do it right. But I'm tired of people presenting like, oh, because they live their life a certain way, or if they've chosen to live their life a certain way, that's the way it should be. No, like, I'm not going to make your necessity a virtue. It's not virtuous. I'm not going to make sleeping with a bunch of women and doing it until you're 67 and like making that's not strength. That's literally being run by your body. And there's no strength in that. None. Just like if I was doing that and I'm over here sleeping with everybody I see just because I can, because I got options, that doesn't make me strong. That makes me weak. So why would it be different for men? Why? Because it's harder to get women to sleep with you. It's harder to convince them to do what you want them to do. So we call that strength? No, that's perversion. Strength is saying, I want you, but I'm going to say no. I want you, but I know that this ain't right for me. I want you, but I know you ain't my wife. Ultimately, I think you attractive. I think you fine, but I know you not the one. I know you ain't the one. So I'm not even going to play this game with myself, because I know I'm not going to want to call you tomorrow. I know you ain't the one. I can look at your profile and know you ain't the one. I can have a conversation with you and know you ain't the one. That's strength, family. That's why I think it's strong when I see 50 Cent saying, or Lenny Kravitz saying, I'm gonna be abstinent. I'm gonna be celibate. I think that's very attractive. I think that is incredibly attractive. That is strength. That is strength. Omarion, that is strength. That is strength. That is not weakness. That is saying I could do it, but I'm not. That's strength. I got power, but I'm not going to exercise it in that way. That is strength. When I'm not going to watch porn because I know it's not good for my brain. It's not good for my relationships. It's not good for anything. I'm going to stop it. That is what we call strength. When you have restraint, when you're able to say no, that is strength, my friends. When you commit, that is strength. When you say I do, that is strength. It is a weakness to do it another way. It is easier to live your life the way you want to live it and play house and do all these things and not really say I do and not really say I do. That's not strength. That's not strength. Strength is when I'm doing something, I'm taking a risk. I'm swinging for the fences. That's a risk. That's strength. That is strength. I'm tired of men being told anything else but that. When you decide to be in relationship, when you decide to be committed, disciplined, I could do it another way, but I don't. You're a king. That's what kings do. Kings have dominion. You feel like you got a lustful spirit, if you feel like you got a spirit that finds himself in corn watching certain, even men that aren't even, y'all, even men that aren't in faith at all are urging men to not watch corn. They're not even in the faith. They're not even trying to be godly in any way, shape, or form. But they're still telling men to be celibate. They're still preaching to men to stop watching corn. If you're not in a marriage, or you're not trying to be in a marriage, you don't sleep with nobody. They're teaching that, and they ain't got nothing to do with being a Christian. But yet Christian men out here saying, no, I'm going to sleep with women. That is not strength, and is not what God's called you to do. God has called you to exercise dominion. God has called you, and you're wondering why. Oh, well, God, no, you're not doing it his way. You're doing it your way, and you want him to bless your way, and he's not. He's not going to bless my way either. He told me that. Sam, your shenanigans? No, that's you. I ain't going to bless that. I told y'all earlier this year, God confronted me about my platform and said, I know you love relationships, and that's beautiful. But I didn't create you to do your platform about relationships. I created you to talk about God. I was like, okay, you're right. I know. It's like, I'm not going to bless who you're pretending to be. If you're not willing to do it God's way, then you have to forfeit God's results. God, please bless business. Please give me the, please, God, God, help me get through. And he's like, you're not doing it my way, son. You're not doing it my way. How can I bless this? I can't bless this. If I give you this platform, if I give you this influence, if I give you what you're praying for, you haven't shown me that you're going to steward this well. You just going to crash and burn like the other ones. I'm not going to do it. You're my son. You're a king. I need you to get dominion over this area. I need you to get this together. I need you to see this in a different way. Because the way the world is not the way I am. The world is teaching you is not my way. And y'all, you can see the brokenness. You can see the brokenness. The material possessions mean nothing. You have all the accolades, all the money in the world. Spiritually broke. Lust is taking us out. It's taking one man out at a time. I would say hundreds of thousands of men a day. And I know that women, of course, I mentioned that I want women to have self-control too. But lust is literally causing men to have issues in their marriages, having issues in their all other aspects of business. I mean, we've seen people's entire empire go down. Entire empire go down in flames because they could not control lust. Lust of the flesh, the pride of life. I pray that God speaks to whoever needed to hear this. I pray that it reaches whoever needed to know this. Because guys, men, y'all have dominion. Y'all were created to be kings. And I'm sorry for my passion. But I felt so, I went on a walk today. And I felt it so strongly that God wanted me to say this. That having no self-control is not a virtue. We see the story of Samson. Lust took him all the way out. He had strength. He had power. He had access. And he threw it all away because he met a Delilah. Look at Queen Jezebel. She was married to King Ahab. King Ahab was not a strong man, but Jezebel was a strong woman. And because he did not have dominion, he allowed her and the decisions she made on his behalf ruin his entire legacy. Solomon, at the end of his life, or towards the end of his reign, started marrying women from foreign countries that worshiped other gods. And he allowed them to set up altars. And he would worship God in those altars. He later writes that he regrets the decisions he made with women because he shortened, abridged the legacy of his kingdom. Guys, I care about your kingdom. I care about what you're building. I care about what God is doing in you. I've seen men, I've witnessed men ruin entire legacies. Stories that God was building through them because of lust. Ruin marriages they desired because of lust. This is where we start to take dominion. This is where we start to practice. This is where we start shooting in the gym. This is where we start saying no. This is where we start allowing ourselves to push a message of self-control. Because I see a lot of men that we prop up, and they ain't got no type of self-control. They ain't got no type of self-control. They moving by the seat of their pants, creating babies with women all over. That's not admirable. That's not integral. You are a king, and what you've done in the past doesn't matter right now. It matters now that you've gotten the message. What you do with it is what matters. What you do with this information now is what's counted against you. That is what I'm telling you guys, and I'm just being honest with you. Everybody that's listening to me, everybody's listening to the sound of my voice. God is now holding you accountable for what you know. Hear me and hear me very clear. God is now holding you accountable for what you know. So you can't say you've been deceived. So everything you do from this moment moving forward, it says in the Bible. I'm going to read the verse to you. Therefore, anyone who knows what he ought to do and does not do it, it is a sin for him. Therefore, anyone who knows what to do and they do not do it, it is a sin for him. James 4:17. You are held accountable for everything you do, and you know what you're supposed to do. Meaning the consequences that come from the decisions you made from a place of knowing will be present. But God, like I said, God is a God of mercy. God is a God of grace. It's not about what you've done in the past. It's not about any of those things. It's now you've been thrown the ball. What do you do with it? What else has happened in the game don't matter. I've now thrown you the ball. What you going to do with it? God has thrown all of you guys a ball. What you gonna do with it? I'm not saying this is easy. But what I am saying is that it's worth it. I haven't met one person that said waiting wasn't worth it. I don't see how you lose waiting on God. I don't see how you lose doing it God's way. I think he does. He's said it over and over again that he blesses that. He blesses the sacrifices you make for him. And I think it's a very important message to men, because I don't think a lot of men get this message. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to beat up on you like this. I really didn't. I felt very strongly about doing this work tonight. And like I said, this is not just about men, women. I've been saying for a long time, I believe women should absolutely exercise self-control. I don't think it's said enough to men that even in their single season, even when they're not promised to somebody, or this is where you practice self-control. And this is where you start shooting in the gym. This is where you start saying no. It's not about pointing the finger. It's not about tit for tat. It's about doing what you know God has called you to do. What you know God has called you to do. Not about finding an excuse to keep doing it the way you want to do it. You are held accountable for the choices you make once you're aware. All right. I love you guys. I hope you're not mad at me too much. God honors marriage. God honors commitment. God does not honor this middle ground that we call in a casual, and he don't honor that. That ain't got nothing to do with God. It's chaos and confusion. God says, in the Bible it says, let me read this scripture. It is written. It says in 1 Corinthians 14:33, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. God is not a God of confusion. He's not. So when you have this confusion, what are we? What aren't we? This middle ground, these situationships, God is not the author of confusion. So the fact that it's happening shows that this is not God at work playing middle ground. God is not at work while you just playing around with women and you ain't got no serious intentions for them. That is not God. That ain't got nothing to do with God. That's your flesh creating its own rules. He recognizes covenant. That's what he recognizes. I don't want to hear the excuses. Oh, well, women doing this. We feeding off of each other. Men doing it, women doing it. We're women doing it because men doing it. Men doing it because women doing it. That is what is happening. We're just bouncing off of each other. This casual S3X, non-committal, this culture is not strength. It is weakness, and it's not of God. It's weakness, and it's not of God. You don't have self-control. Stop calling yourself strong. You're not strong. You can't say no. You can't deny your flesh. You can't wait for the woman that is yours. That's hard. That's actually hard. That's very challenging. That's not an easy thing to do. That's why that is strength. That is strength. Saying I do is hard, but that is strength. A lot of you guys, a lot of you men desire companionship. You desire marriage. And maybe deep down inside, you suppress it because you've been hurt before, because you've experienced betrayal, or you've been the betrayer. And so now you're just in the wing, messing with women, not really being committal, doing your own thing. And that's been comfortable for a season. God's about to make you incredibly uncomfortable. Incredibly uncomfortable. Because that's not his way. He ain't got nothing to do with that. He ain't got nothing to do with that. What he's got to do with a lot of people, family, just look around. We all are paying the price for the choices we've made. You're seeing a lot of people that have lived their entire lives and they have not experienced the consequences. And this year and last year, a lot of people faced consequences. You will face consequences for choosing a way that isn't God's. And some of y'all are true men of God. True men of God. You're anointed. Got a strong anointing on your life. Y'all, if you do, watch Mark the Messenger. I don't know if you guys know. Shout out to Mark the Messenger. I mean, strong man of God, anointed. Listen to him. I mean, he really be breaking it down, and he's like the in-between. He don't mince words. Mark the Messenger, y'all. Mark the Messenger. I think it's Philip Anthony from 2819. Y'all, watch these men of God. That is strength. That is masculine, godly strength. Both these men, obviously don't come from the best of beginnings, but man, what God has done in their life is incredible. These men are anointed and appointed. Anyway. Because sometimes it's not good to hear it from me. Maybe you want to hear it from a man. Maybe you want to hear it from a man that's very masculine man that was in, they have past. They're not just squeaky clean and come from nothing. These guys have stories. Maybe that's helpful to hear from them. But I want you guys to have dominion. And I don't want y'all to be deceived. All right, family. All right. I'm letting it go. I've said enough. I've done enough. Thank you guys for everybody that decided to come in tonight and be a part of this live. I hope this live helps you. I'm not going to guarantee that I'm never going to talk about this again, because I probably will. I want to thank YouTube user. Thank you so much. YouTube user says he can do it. I know you can. I've seen a lot of men do it. I know if one man can do it, I know all men can do it. Men can do it. Y'all can do it. Well said, Samantha. We are in a very dark Babel world. Absolutely. And I brought up this one earlier, which was definitely feel your passion. Saying this is a tough and sensitive topic to share to mostly men. Love you for this. Thank you guys again. I want you guys to have a great night. I will see you guys next week. Comment below, share this live with those who you think will need it. We will be breaking down the clips of this episode since it is such a long live. And I'll be looking forward to hearing from you all. I love you guys, and I will see you guys soon.